Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon for September 9th, 2023, with your host, Peacemaker2448 and Rampant Epsilon.
Hi. Also, I love the fact that Discord failed to tell me there was the other chat open. That's why I put that in the wrong one.
I was about to say, that is the wrong show. that is not this week's show.
What do you mean? Sure it is.
So we have a fairly Nintendo-centric episode this week. Like, the first half of our news is all Nintendo stuff, and the other half is one yay thing, and then two depressing things, and then me setting myself up to lose for the third year in a row.
Maybe.
So yeah, we have some stuff to get through first. But first, Tom, what have you been playing the last couple weeks?
Well, since you said the last couple of weeks, not really a whole lot. I've been more working on the Archipelago stuff on the back end. Starfield this past week, but I mean, outside of that, not really much else.
I have also played the Field of Stars.
And what do you think?
I did not get to the tower event you were talking about yesterday, so because I played more today, and I went to 2 planets, picked up 2 more hunks of metal, and put them in the spinning orb thing. And some cowboy guy was like, "Hey, you want to go check out an anomaly?" And I'm like, "Eventually, I'm gonna go do other stuff."
Oh, so I know where you're at. You haven't made it to the tower thing then?
No.
So I must have followed a different one of the starting 3 they gave you there then.
Yeah, I did the one that was investigate. I think it was go to the eye and then get 2 locations, and then I investigated one of the 2 locations, and there was a friend there who was not super happy I was there to help unknowingly, but she calmed down afterwards and joined the crew. And then I checked the other one, and I've got 2 hunks of metal I've thrown into the orb thing and got the same cutscene twice when touching those, and I'm like, there's not even anything new. This is the same thing. What?
Yeah.
Guys, what do you... This is the worst hook for like the first 2 hours of a game I've ever seen. This is not great. Because after I dropped off those 2 chunks, I was like, I'm going to go do other stuff. Like, I'm going to go buy all the resources and the one shop that I could find, because there's no maps in this game.
Yeah, that's the thing that's starting to get on my nerves.
So I don't know where the fuck anything is, because there's also no maps in context of the game. Like, there's no board somewhere when you first land in the main city of being like, here's the layout of the city, here's where everything is. Nope.
Now, that part of it I don't mind. I mind the fact that the star map doesn't have anything to kind of go off of. You don't have a way to filter the star map to say, show me only cities, or show me only bases that are known, or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It is just, here is star map, pick place, hope that you find it.
Yeah.
And I really don't like that.
Yeah, that's why.
At least with Star Citizen, the star map is not good. I will full on be one to say that. But at least with that, if you click a planet, you can see the places you can land, and you can get a pretty good idea on whether or not they're important or not.
Here, no.
Yeah.
Also, I was able to buy out this one. I think it's like the first shop you're able to run into, like the first proper shop. I forget the name of it. It's in a building.
I mean, most are.
Well, you have the kiosk when you first land. But I think you can only sell there, and you can buy ships and like improve your ship with the guy that's next to it.
See, you didn't add the ship part of it. You just said about first shop, and you bought it, and it was in a building. It's like, yeah.
At least I think it's the first shop you can run to. I don't know what's in the other buildings. I think one of them's a bank. Whatever you can do at the bank.
It's not the first shop in the game overall that you can interact with, but it is the first one on that planet kind of deal.
I'm pretty sure it's the first one you can buy other stuff that isn't just ship stuff. Because you can't buy anything at the kiosk. It's only there to sell.
Yeah.
Also, it says that I have stuff in my ship inventory, but I don't. So I don't know what it's talking about. Because I assume it's talking about the little safe that's in your ship, right?
No.
Oh.
No, you actually have a cargo hold for the ship.
Oh, okay. I have not found the button for that one.
Go into your inventory, then you'll find the button.
Okay. That could have been made a little clearer.
Yeah, it could have.
So apparently I have stuff that I didn't know about. So yeah, I just gave up and did other stuff. I did some of the board missions, which I think I surveyed like 2 planets, which didn't take that long because they were mostly done by the time I landed. I just had to scan like 2 resources and for one planet, and then scan another 2 resources on a different planet and find where a meteor crashed. Also, when I bought out all the resources, I still had a butt ton of money left over because I think I'm in 5-digit credits.
I would be, except for I keep finding stuff to, spend it on. AKA modifying ships. AKA modifying the one ship you get given. I
haven't done that yet, outside of give it a new paint job, because I want to be like loaded when I do that. And maybe have access to a bunch of different parts and stuff to like properly customize it. That or just build a new ship from the ground up.
I mean, I've pretty much done that at this point.
Honestly, a part of me just wants to build a ship from the ground up, and I'm like, I need a butt ton of money for that, probably.
Not really.
Oh.
If you've broke 100,000, you should be able to make I'm gonna say small ship. I'm not meaning it like small in terms of to put it in like Star Citizen, so that's a Pisces kind of size. It would be more to put it in a comparison to that. You could make a ship about the size of like a freelancer kind of deal with that much, because I've probably put 50 or 60,000 into modifying the one that I've got. So I could see 100,000. You could probably build one from the ground up about that size frame.
So essentially, do more things because I'm at 5 digits. I think I'm at like 50,000. So I'm like halfway there.
That
or no, less than 50,000.
That or modify some from that starting ship.
Yeah. Otherwise, I've messed with a bunch of the crafting stuff because since I bought all the resources, I went into the research and crafting stuff, and it's all the same as Fallout 4, like verbatim. It is literally the exact same system. Out of curiosity, have you found the coachman?
Yes.
That's just the Doom shotgun, right?
Pretty much.
Okay, I was like, this is literally just the double-barreled shotgun from Doom. Like this, there is no disguising this. This is just that shotgun. It's also like my best weapon.
Yep.
Because it's stupid good. Because I think I got a fancy version of it. Because what I keep doing is, because I think, yeah, I got one of the first upgrades I got perk-wise was find more credits on bodies and in containers and stuff. And one of the other first perks was buy for less and sell for more. AKA, I've been investing in economy.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it means I have all these resources and nothing to do with them because I need to unlock perks to be able to make other stuff. So I'm just kind of like waiting to level up so I can do more things, which is another one of those. The more the game isn't getting me to the stuff I want fast enough, the more I feel myself drifting away from the game.
But you know what's funny? The game's actually kind of gave you everything you need.
Yeah, I just have to put in the time to do so.
Because the reason I say it that way, I don't know if the game is really meant for people to focus the story more so as to be able to just get derailed from the story and do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Because it almost... The main story almost had me hooked. Until we got to the tower part of it.
And you can tell me what happens, I don't care.
I'm gonna give everyone like a hot second before I even remotely say it. If you don't want any spoilers, you might want to walk away from it for a couple minutes easy.
Because something tells me, because of the setup with all the visions and stuff, this is Mass Effect, but done in a boring way.
You're not wrong, but
for fuck's sakes,
it's not. It's not that either.
Okay.
Let's just say, to put it in the easy sense, they lean into the fi part of sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
You start getting powers from the towers that are unexplained. And that no one understands how the tower has gave you powers.
What kind of power? Do you just have the force now?
The first one, you can create an anti-gravity field around you. That doesn't feel like it works right.
Okay.
Because I don't understand it.
Oh, great.
Description says it does one thing. I do it. It doesn't act like it's doing the one thing. So,
So they gave you a force bubble. Great.
The second one feels useful for exploration. Basically, you can create your own oxygen bubble kind of deal around you. And that one actually sounds like that could be useful.
I'm not ran into a problem.
I would have to think there's going to be a planet where that could be a problem, or there might be a point where maybe your suit fails and you might need to do that to survive long enough to get back to the ship. Because I have noticed the suits will start failing on you if you're in extreme environments for too much.
Yeah, I had that happen, but I was able to immediately fast travel to my ship and negated that problem.
Yeah. But that's one of those that I might could see that being a thing.
Yeah. I just... for those wondering,
yeah.
how deep is this tower thing in?
You full on have access to it.
Right, but how long did it take you hours-wise? I'm curious.
Not a good judge of that one.
Fair.
I got derailed hard from the story repeatedly.
I was trying to figure out how many hours I've put in, and I don't know at this point. Because I don't think the Xbox app shows your hours played per game.
I doubt it.
So I pulled it up and it didn't show. So I have to pull up the save file to maybe see if it does. And I don't feel like pulling up the save file right now.
I would attempt, but every time I've tried to play the game the last 2 days, the cloud gaming service has had a queue. So, yeah. I could try to pull it up now. We might know by the time we end the show. Because it's anywhere from 15 to the longest was 45 minutes.
Damn.
And the only way to find that out is if you load it from the website. If you try to load it from the app, it just looks like it's loading indefinitely. Because, you know, they could have added one piece of code to tell you there's a wait time. Be patient, stupid. But no, we won't do that.
But yeah, I'm so bored and I want to do fun things. And the game's like, if you want to do fun things, don't do the story. And I'm like, that's terrible. Oh my God. Because my companions are the one chick in charge, the one robot that I got dumped with the ship from the other guy who took over my job. when I touched the first piece of metal I delivered, and the one chick I just picked up. And I can't really tell you anything about them, which is horrible because they're my crew. Literally, all three of them. So I'm like, like Mass Effect. And here's the thing, the whole, like, you get a vision thing from the tower instead of the pieces of metal in Mass Effect, that's like within the first hour of the game. Like, Mass Effect 1 has a better opening than this video game. And it's the same plot. Mysterious artifact, you touch the thing, you get a vision, oh no, you're now important.
Yep.
The only difference is you're actually doing things rather than standing around in this room watching these strips of metal float around in this orb as everyone goes, I wonder what it's going to do now. As you just add more to it, and it's like, it's doing things. We're not sure what they are, but it's doing things. And I'm like, for fuck's sakes, how do you people not know what this thing does? Like, do you not know anything it does besides just spin in circles? How many pieces of metal do I have to dump on this thing for it to do something important? Because the answer is too goddamn many at this point.
I honestly feel like the side quests for the other factions is probably the more enjoyable thing.
Apparently.
To be fair. Because I've heard more people talking about the side quests than I have out of the main. So that kind of makes me wonder if that might be the case there. Which, I mean, if that's the case, then that's fine. I can completely just ignore the main story and just be like, okay, cool. Space game, go do space stuff. That still doesn't solve the problem I have with the map. Truthfully.
Yeah.
Like, even if we didn't go to the point where the quick map from the start menu told you everything kind of deal. Give us a module we could put on the ship. Give us like a map room to put on the ship to where we could see this stuff as we're exploring it. I get let it be hidden when you haven't visited it, but Aquila City that I literally was just at, hopped to a different planet, I could not find that city again for a good 5 minutes. I literally just came from it, and I'm like, why? Why is this broken?
You know, it's funny. There is a table that you can access the star map in your ship in.
But it's the exact same star map, ain't it?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's useless.
Yeah. It just puzzles me on how they can nail so much of it and then flub important parts.
Yeah, I'm more and more going, you know what I'd rather be playing? The other game I was playing on Game Pass because I didn't know it was on Game Pass until I watched Gerard's video on it and went, oh fuck, I'm downloading that now. Sea of Stars. You know what Sea of Stars is? It is an isometric RPG from the developers of The Messenger. It is a throwback to classic SNES RPGs like Chrono Trigger, Super Mario RPG, Final Fantasy, and the like. And it is so goddamn good. And it is so gorgeous. It's all sprite based. The combat is a mix of like Chrono Trigger and Mario RPG, where Chrono Trigger, it's a little bit, your position in battle changes depending on when the battle starts. Nothing is positional based though, as far as I know. But there are timed hits. And right off the bat, you get a relic that gives you a visual indicator for when you do the timed hits correctly. So you can turn that on and off as you desire. And it works for timed hits and timed defenses as well. Enemies have, after about a turn or so, have a lock mechanic where they will get a roulette wheel, and then they will receive weaknesses of like one of 4 weaknesses that you currently have for me at the moment at 3 party members. So it's like fire, or like sun, moon, hammer, or sword. So essentially like your magic damage of one variety, your magic damage of the other variety, blunt damage, and then sword damage. And you have damage across all 4 of those across your 3 party members. What happens is if you hit an enemy and with all of the things that are on their lock, you skip their turn. And your turn order is variable. So you can do anyone in your party in any order. You do not have to go in order. So you got a little bit more planning and trying to figure out, okay, this enemy has like 2 blunt, this enemy has like 2 magic. How do I do this to like skip their turns and get more damage in? It's very good. The characters are wonderful. You have a pair of siblings that are sun and moon blessed because solstice magic stuff. They're off to go seal a big evil because their magic. Their buddy, who is a chef, is tagging along with them. It's so good and so wonderful, and I have enjoyed it so much more in the smaller amount of time I have played in Starfield. I have put so much less time in Sea of Stars, and I want to play it so much more. Oh my god. It is a really good game. It is reminding me once more. Yeah, I need to play more RPGs. Because there's that out, and then WrestleQuest is also out, and I want to play WrestleQuest because it also looks really good. But yeah, I recommend Sea of Stars. Go play it. It's very good. I don't really have much else, though. It's really just been the 2 of those. And then Indivisible, which unfortunately it feels a bit unfinished, and that's because the one person in charge of the development team tried to hijack the studio when the rest of the employees tried to out him for being a shithead. So he kind of hijacked the company, and that led to more or less the cancellation of any and all of the extra Kickstarter updates for Indivisible. But the studio has been closed, and it's been bought out by 505, who were the publishers of the game. But they are not able to like guarantee the missing Kickstarter updates and stuff. So the game's kind of left in this kind of unfinished state. Well, not, I wouldn't say unfinished, it's rough. It is a rough state, to say the least. It could be, it feels like it needs another, like, few months of polish. But otherwise, it's fun. It's a fun little RPG, so. I'm gonna keep going through it until the game does something irreparably bad. Because the platforming does not feel good. It really does not feel good. Especially for some of the things it's asking me to do. Anything else before we hit the news?
No.
All right, then. First up, Eiji Aonuma has stated in an interview that currently there are no plans for Tears of the Kingdom DLC. The team has felt like they have done all they can in this little universe that they've made within the Zelda franchise, and they are moving on. So, how do you feel about no Tears of the Kingdom DLC? Seemingly.
I still feel like it's weird.
Especially after Breath of the Wild's DLC.
Yeah.
I know data-wise there's suggestions of a master mode update, but that's all that's in the data. So maybe that will come eventually. But there seems to be no suggestion of anything major. I honestly don't know what they would do major, because I don't know if you finished the game yet or not.
Nope.
Okay. Because honestly, the only thing I think they could give us, and I'm not sure what they would do, is give us a playable Zelda in her segments. But I don't think that's enough. And if they weren't going to give us that off the bat, I don't know why they would give us that now. So yeah, that is where we stand on Zelda. But we also have an update with Charles Martinet. Him and Miyamoto put out a video talking, and more or less we now have an idea of what Martinet's role is as Mario ambassador. More or less, he's just gonna go to conventions and do like meet and greets and all that kind of stuff. Which apparently, from watching a video talking about when he initially retired and stuff, he was always doing that anyway. So now he's just getting paid by Nintendo to do so, I guess. Which, all right then. Also, still no confirmation of who is taking over for Charles and his various roles.
And we won't, because they've officially said that play the game, look at the credits, then you'll find out.
Which, to be honest, when have they ever really pushed voice actors for any of their games?
Fair, but I mean, you're also talking about the voice of multiple characters being replaced.
Right.
And
I'm also wondering.
I'm also waiting on us to find out that, you know, we don't have just one person doing the voices of them anymore. That it's actually kind of divvied amongst different people. Because I could see that being a thing.
I'm wondering if they're also not saying who because they don't want that person to get harassed off Twitter.
I'd say it's more they don't want to say who because of a fear of if the internet doesn't like them, then that'll hurt the game.
That too. Yeah, that is where Charles Martinet going to be up to for now. We also had a Wonder Direct because apparently the proper Nintendo Direct for September is next week with a supposed F-Zero and a supposed Donkey Kong and a supposed what was the other thing I just read? today. They teased the third thing. I have to see if I can find it. But yeah, that direct is next week. Yay. If I'm able to, I might do a live reaction to it. But in this Wonder Direct, they revealed the full roster. So it's Mario, Luigi, several colors of Yoshi, Daisy, Toad, or a couple colors of Toad, Toadette, and Nabbit. They noted that the Yoshis and Nabbit can't die unless they fall in the pit. So they're kind of an easier mode characters. Yoshi does have his flutter jump. And they are rideable by other characters. The elephant power-up is universal amongst all the characters, so everyone can turn into an elephant.
By the way, Yoshi can ride Yoshi.
Yes. There is an ability system in the game. Is like the best way I can describe it. What did they call it? I forget what they called it. Badges. There's a badge system that is essentially an ability system, so you can equip different abilities, like where you can do like a wall climb jump, where you can shoot yourself straight up a wall instead of like bouncing back and forth, or a grappling hook, or other badges and stuff. They're or a parachute cap. That's one of the ones. A floating high jump. The crouching high jump from Mario 2. A safety bounce that gives you like a one-time like save yourself from like a lava. Sensor to find collectibles. And several other things. You get one that you can equip going into a level. You can't equip more than one. And you'll be collecting them from levels and shops and stuff and challenges. There is an online component. It is 4-player local. But online, you essentially get Dark Souls like Ghost system, where you see other people playing alongside you, and they can leave messages for stuff, and they can leave like little standees that can revive you if you get killed. There is also a bubble power-up and a drill power-up that is new to the game. And then the Wonder effects can do all sorts of funny shenanigans. That's pretty much it. How do you feel about Wonder with this kind of extensive look?
I kind of want to see when it comes out, kind of deal.
Yeah.
Because I get the not doing online multiplayer. That makes sense. After the train wreck that Mario Maker 2 has with their multiplayer online, I can completely understand. But at the same time, it would have been nice to have also had that, but I full on can understand.
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, I mean, it seems like another 2D Mario game.
Yeah. I like the different like tech stuff we're getting, because I'm sure that'll make speedruns fun.
Or it'll completely screw them, because Nintendo's been loving to patch out speedrun stuff.
Yeah. Also, the third thing for the Direct next week, supposedly on Thursday, is more information on the Peach game that was teased at the last Direct. So, yay! But yeah, it seems neat and interesting. I'm willing to check it out when it comes out eventually. Any other thoughts?
No.
Okay, then. So, speaking of speedruns in Mario, so a new world record has been achieved in the ELD Mario Brothers. And this record is so close to the theoretical perfect run. I believe it is 0.366 seconds or 22 frames from being at the literal limit that can possibly be at for the game. I think even at a task level, that is the fastest it can be. So how do you feel about possibly seeing in the future a perfect Mario 1 run?
If a human does it, it is not a perfect run. There's always going to be some kind of something that someone didn't realize. Because there's not going to be a way that you're going to nail literally every trick, even though it's a 5-minute or less than 5-minute run. There's no way. Because I'm sure this is the any percent.
Yes.
Yeah. Just shy of 5 minutes, so yeah. I feel like that this is probably going to be the not necessarily end of it, but the end of doing anything big kind of deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of says a lot because it's been on a slow and steady decrease. So
also, good on Summoning Saul for getting a mention in this article for his 45-minute breakdown of how the world record got to this point. Well, before this point. Those that don't know, Summoning Saul does a lot of history of world record videos, breaking down how the records got to their points and also other various aspects of speedrunning. He does very good work. But yeah, any other thoughts?
no.
All right, then. This is a personal poll because this is one of my childhood shows. We are getting a remaster of Ye Olde SNES Gargoyles for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, October 19th. It looks very pretty. I also believe this game is hard as fuck. Unfortunately. It's one of those old SNES games that just kicks you in the dick a lot, so... But it looks gorgeous. It looks very much in line with the animated series. Yeah, that is neat and cool. It's interesting that we're getting, this is like the second one we've gotten that has like a proper remaster, because we've gotten DuckTales and now this. I wonder if we'll get more of them.
I mean, probably, because Disney's got to make money.
Yeah. Now we unfortunately move on to the sad news. So because of a deal falling through with Embracer, with a Saudi Arabia-based publisher, I believe, that has led to restructuring, and a part of that restructuring has led to the close of Volition Studios, the ones behind Saints Row. The extra bad part about this is the closure happened on the 31st of last month. Or no, the 30th of last month, my bad. Meaning anyone that had or everyone that had healthcare and stuff, that immediately ran out. Which fucking sucks. So yeah, Volition is closing down. Hopefully everyone there bounces back. Any thoughts?
No.
All right, then the other, not necessarily sad news, but dumb news. Sony is raising their PlayStation Plus prices by 35%. So currently, their prices were $60 for Essential, $100 for Extra, and $120 for Premium. Starting, from September 6th, which means it's already happened. Essential is now $80, Extra is $140, and Premium is $160. And that is for a full year subscription, folks. So how do you feel about this price increase?
Still doesn't seem as bad, though. In all seriousness.
I am reminded that, I don't have a PlayStation Plus subscription of any kind because I don't know why I would need one. So this doesn't hit me in any particular way. But any others?
No.
All right, then let's talk Gachard.
Okay,
I
the
guess,
thing we already have kind of.
Yeah. How'd you feel about I think we talked about it Sunday. How'd you feel about the first episode?
I don't really know how to feel.
Fair. It feels like the first part of probably a two-parter.
Well,
so
it's not so much that as it almost feels like it is starting more akin to how a Sentai show would go, kind of deal. And I'm like, because it just feels too over the top. And what's weird is, normally when I get this kind of a feeling, it's because the previous show went to a really dark spot and kind of had to come back from that one.
Yeah.
Except for Geets really didn't.
Yeah, in spots it did, but not by the end.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not previous show influence and thoughts here. I don't know how I'm actually going to feel about this one. Because it almost gives me the vibe of how, like, Saber started out with the over-the-top kind of stuff, which was the big turn away for me.
Yeah.
It's one of those I'll know after a few more episodes. It's going to depend on how the tone goes going forward.
Yeah, this is I need a few more episodes with this show to see how I feel about it, because right now I don't have any big thoughts one way or the other. It's perfectly fine as a writer show. But much like the last 2 years, we have taken Hawkilly's guessing game that he does amongst other folks, and we've done it between ourselves to see how well we do. As a recap, I have lost both years. Geets, I lost horribly.
Yeah, I was gonna look, and yeah.
Yeah, I was a full, I believe, 8 points behind you.
Yeah. We were closer on Revice, though. Don't sell yourself short there.
I blame Ace winning the DGP that I said he wouldn't win.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ace.
Yeah.
If I thought there was going to be multiple DGPs, I would have said Ace would have lost the DGP.
Yeah, I could have saw that then.
But I was like, no, it'll only be the one DGP. Nope. We had like 5. But yeah, we're going to go through these, talk about our answers, because we've already put in all of our answers. We don't, I have not seen anything really for episode 2 besides a preview for episode 3. So we have about as much context as Hawk and them had. So I might have more because I've looked into the leaks from the Gotchar driver, and that only helps so much, I feel like, in this. So first up, we've got yes and no questions. It's a 50-50. If we get it right, we get a point. If we get it wrong, we get nothing. So, will the final boss be beaten by the base form?
Nah. They abandoned that really quickly.
Yeah. I love how Hawks is just like, these are rare traditions, and I'm like, this is a fucking Heisei tradition. But this started with build. And then the Geo. Well, actually, it skipped Geo, and then went to 0-1, and then went to Saber, and then they abandoned it immediately.
You forgot about Exide.
Oh, yeah, Exide did it too, yeah.
It's one of those... We almost had it with Gates. And then they actually were... like, oh, right, we do have a form to, do this.
Yeah.
Because I'm not joking. The final episode of Geats, I swear I was about to get really ticked when he went base form, because I was fixing to be like, they did not just seriously repurpose base form to be some kind of god form.
No. It's only here to sell a toy real quick. Because it made me realize Dotpod only shows up in one episode to sell the fact that his sound version of his ID core is getting sold on Premium Bandai that week. It's the only reason he showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, will the final boss be someone we have met in episode 1?
Nah.
It's gonna be whoever's behind the door. The door to darkness, the Fate sisters mentioned.
Yeah.
Which I swear to God, if it is a literal door to darkness, I will not hear the end of the Kingdom Hearts comparisons.
Well, I mean, all they'll have to do is give him a Keyblade and then he can fix it.
Oh, God, if they actually do. Number 3, the tertiary or girl rider gets a half-baked final form.
The only reason I'm saying no here is because of wishful thinking.
I am saying no because of a prediction of mine later on.
I am only saying no because of wishful thinking. My full prediction down below is exactly where I'm expecting. I am fine with gambling that 1 point for that one. I want the show to prove me right on that.
Also, I don't really feel like
the show is not going to prove me right on that.
Also, I feel like Nago's final form is not half-baked. It's actually pretty good. It only gets one fight scene, but it's still pretty good.
Half-baked.
Yeah.
One fight scene, half-baked.
It is better than the others we've gotten in the Rara era.
One fight scene and then proceeds to be jobbed out the remainder of the time it's on screen.
Yeah.
Half-baked.
Yep. Number 4, will Hotaru get a 2-part form in Q3, a la Shining Assault, Primitive Elemental, Buried Volcano, Geats' Mark 3, Mark 9, I guess?
Technically, yes, on that one. I would more akin to a Mark II laser boost.
Yeah.
That one seems to be a recurring theme, so yeah, we're definitely getting something like that.
Yeah, we probably will. It'll probably involve the hazard triggered port that's on the top of the Gotchard driver. Because for those wondering, there is a hazard trigger like port on the top of the Gotchard driver. It doesn't tell it to shut up, but it does unlock like a bigger finisher.
Oh dear God! Please tell me they're not gonna try to do a berserk form.
Well, we already have the wild forms, which are, as I thought they were, a bad mix version of the proper rider form. If the camis and the rider are not in perfect sync, it gets the wild form. If they're in sync, they get the proper rider form. Which is exactly what I thought they were. Which will explain why we are only going to get like 2 of those, I think. Because we ain't got the budget to do a lot of those. Number 5, will the final battle villain be redeemed?
There again, not been a recurring theme. It's been literally a 2 off on the last few shows we've even had.
Yeah.
I say a 2 off because even though it was half-heartedly done in Saber, it was done in Saber.
And then they haven't done it since for good reason. Number 6, will the parallel ride chemi cards appear in show? These are the alt art ride chemi cards. No.
Yeah.
Just no. Why would they throw the alt arts in the show? I actually think the reverse is going to happen. They're going to release a special versions of the ride chemi cards that look like they're in motion like they are in the show.
I can see that.
Because it's otherwise, no, they're not. Number 7, will a Heisei rider show up in a movie or TTFC special?
I could see this one, actually.
It will probably happen because it actually has happened the last, 3 years. Because the Ghost Crew showed up for Saber. Teruya, amongst other people, showed up for Revice. And the Ryuki Crew showed up for Geats.
Mm-hmm.
So they're getting somebody back.
Yep.
Besides decade ? At this, because apparently it may not be actually Decade that's showing up. It might just be someone in a Decade-like suit. It's not actually in a way back. And as a bonus, depending on if it ever shows up or not, will the Philosopher's Stone be a super or final form?
I kind of think it will. Only if it is a case of I don't think it'll be a final form. I think it'd more be like a super form. Mm-hmm. And if it is, it would be a one-off for something that plays into a movie or special. I don't think it'll be show proper kind of deal.
Mm-hmm. As someone who has seen the entire leaked list of cards from the Gotchard driver, I doubt it because nothing stands out in that list of being the Philosopher's Stone. I think it will show up as a plot point and will facilitate a form, but it will not be, he's not going to slap a card in there that's literally the Philosopher's Stone. It'll be used to upgrade the chemis.
What about the hazard trigger slot?
That I could see if it's literally the hazard trigger slot.
Because that's kind of where I'm leaning, whereas it could be like an attachment for the driver that possibly shows up end of one episode and magically disappears the start of the next one kind of deal. Because that's where a special or a movie fits in between.
Yeah.
I could see something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think if it is, it would be a long-term thing in the show.
Yeah. Now for the count questions. We have to give a number for every one of these questions. If we are within 2 points, or within 2 of the number, we get 1 point. If we are within 1 number, we get 2 points. If we are dead on, we get 3 points. But anything outside of that range counts against us in total. So as you see on the as you see on stream, for the how many writers question, I have 10. In the show, we currently only have 1. That means I'm at -6 points currently. So we are punishing ourselves if we guess a stupid number. Which do you want to guess how many for like the card one they kept guessing on Hawk stream?
I'm gonna assume low numbers.
Nope.
Oh, really? It was stupid high numbers?
Everyone, I think, went double, at least.
Oh, boy.
Everyone was shooting in, like, the 200 ranges. Which I seriously doubt.
Oh, boy.
I think they're all nuts, and I think it's not going to be 200. But before we get to that question, first and foremost, how many riders do we get? They have to be in suit and name. I'm at 10. You are at 11.
Just because I think you probably have nailed it.
So this plays in, this is a part of the driver theory. So I've seen the theory and I kind of agree with it. We are probably going to get a driver for every main alchemic element. And there are 7 of them. Possibly because 2 of them are technically silver, because one of them is Quicksilver, aka Mercury, and the other one is just flat silver. But it suggests that Gotchard is the copper one currently, which kind of makes sense with his coloration and the fact that he is a hopper in a steam liner. His color is because the copper has oxidized. It sounds like a reach, but it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it sounds like a reach.
I'm willing the ballpark will probably get 7 because, again, alchemy seems to be kind of like a theming thing just in the background, so I could see them kind of loosely throwing us 7 drivers that loosely fit that theme. And I'm just going to say 10 because we'll probably get like 2 or 3 more on top of that. Which is why for how many drivers, I say 8. Because if they do that, there's probably going to be a couple drivers shared between elements. So it's going to be like plus 1 or 2 on top of that. And you're at 6.
Yeah, because I get the funny feeling we're going to have another load number. And it's more because of the way that they did Geats.
Yeah.
We had plenty of times they could have implemented new drivers. But they didn't. They kept repurposing drivers, and it's like, okay. There's a reason you guys are doing that on an option that you have here to just throw drivers and say, give us money.
Yeah, I think the 2 shows before Geats, when they went stupid hard on drivers, maybe has burnt them, and they're like, we have to cut back. We cannot do 20 drivers in a year.
And that's why I kind of think it'll be another low number. Because, to be fair with the way it's set up, you really don't need too many different drivers.
Yeah.
And, I mean, kind of like why I put in the full predictions about another rider is only going to use one Kimmy instead of two. I kind of feel like that's going to be the case. We're probably going to get drivers that utilize maybe different amounts of Kimmys, or utilize them differently in such a way. And I don't know how many options we could do, kind of deal.
Also, I think this is technically Act 2 because I think the Valva Crusher, which is Valvrid's thing, counts in this equation, but he doesn't count as a rider. You think?
If he don't count as a rider, then would that actually be a driver? I think at the moment it wouldn't be.
Yeah. If he doesn't get counted as a rider, we're not going to count his transformation device.
Now, I mean, if he gets counted as a rider, then yes, it obviously would. Or if that is used as a driver for another rider, then yes. But I think until that happens, we have to say no, kind of deal there.
Yeah, because they have not been ambiguous on his identity. They have literally called him a masked warrior instead of a masked rider. He is literally being sold as not a common rider, even though he kind of looks like one. We are not being ambiguous here. He's not a rider. Point blank. Do not attach the rider name to him.
Now, I mean, that's not saying that ain't gonna happen.
Oh, he's going to get a driver that upgrades him to a rider.
Yeah. But unless it becomes a thing, well, I don't know, because I mean, I'm sitting here trying to think about Chase. Would you count his Machine Chaser form as a rider form?
No. Because he's explicitly not a rider in that form.
But even when he becomes a rider, he still has access to that form. So that's one of those, it's like, would you count that? Because if so, then I guess you would have to count reactively anything back. But if you still say no, then it's like, okay, then explain.
I would say no, because those are two different transformation devices to access two different forms.
Except he was still in the same mindset when he used it in the final appearance, kind of deal.
Fair.
So, like, if the Machine Chaser form was only when he was evil, then that would be one thing. But since he utilized it while after being a rider and used it for rider purposes, that's where that throws it into the gray zone there.
Yeah. I shall consult the official Rider Zukon and see what they say. Because they specify who is and is not a rider.
Because I kind of feel like, yeah, it should be at that point. Since he was deemed a rider at that point. But at the same time, I can see that argument for no.
Yeah. So the Zukon lists Kamen Rider Chaser and Machine Shaper separately. And Machine Chaser does not have the Kamen Rider name behind the image, so they are not a rider. Also of note, June is not counted as a rider either.
Well, I mean, that one's a duh.
But
that
everyone
one
else
wasn't even going to be an argument, but I mean...
But everyone else from the show is, also including the fact that Proto Drive is also listed separately here too, even though that's also Chase. So Chase is in this list 3 times. Because remember, he was a rider before he became Machine Chaser and then became a completely different rider after.
Yeah.
Chase gets put through the ringer in that show so hard.
But that's one of those, that's why I'm like, that's the real question. So using that form of logic, then unless the Kamen Rider title actually ever gets attached to him, then no, we couldn't count that. if we're using that logic. And I don't know if I full on agree with that either. Because I think it should depend on how the show uses it.
Fair. I just use the Zukon because it's the only like main universal source at the moment for who counts as a writer and who doesn't, at least in the eyes of Toei. Even though the list is not complete because we're still missing Super One and Saycross and Saber and Revice in the listings. Also, they decide to list every time like the show writers show up in the next show as from that show specifically and not the previous version of that character. So like the Hongo that shows up in V3 is not Hongo from the original series. He is the V3 version of Hongo. It sounds stupid, I know.
Yeah. Which also means that I wouldn't trust that as far as I could throw it.
Fair. It's very peculiar. And its choices and how it uses them. Anyway. Episode count. We're both at 48.
I full on agree. We have been nailing right there at that.
I feel like 48 is not only like the dead on number, it is the safe number because it puts you pretty much within what should be the range for it. Because if the show goes 50, you're within 2. If the show goes slightly less, you're probably only 1 away because it'll be 47. The only way it's going to be anything less is if something catastrophic happens, like a pandemic. Next up, how many writer final forms do we get? 2. Like the standard amount we always get.
Yeah.
1 from the show and 1 from the movie. We're not going to get more than that because they've abandoned that idea for good reason. Now the fun one. How many Ride Kemi cards in the show? So we know there's 101 already. Because they've said that there's 101. Which, for those wondering, it's 10 sets of 10 plus 1. I don't know what the plus 1 is. We know it's 10 sets of 10 because there are 10 categories in the driver that each have a power level going from 1 to 10 with a Kemi. So, what is your thought going up from there, essentially?
I'm leaning towards the more than likely 3 to 4 upgrades are all going to have more than likely 2 unique Kemis for each of them.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, possibly some of our new riders could utilize their own. And the reason I'm kind of leaning that direction with it is because of like Decade in the End. They don't use the same cards. So chances are we're going to at least have one rider that has their own. Outside of that, I think you were close enough to where I was like, I'm going to, instead of just going the 1, I'm probably going to go the 2 kind of deal. Because I could see us being close to that number, close to final form kind of the deal. And that could be what makes or breaks it.
I'm thinking, and that's a part of a prediction I have down below, there's not going to be any new Kemis introduced in the series. Like, they're not going to make a 102nd Kemi or a 103rd Kemi that is separate from like the 101 we've seen before. They're all going to be evolutions of the ones we have already. Like if Gotchard's going to get a new form, it's just going to be Hopper 1 becoming Hopper 2 or the Hopper X, because there's a Hopper X card in the driver. That's what's going to happen. They're all going to be Digivolutions.
Yeah, and I mean that's not, when I was saying about new ones for each of the forms, that's not necessarily new Kimmies, but new forms of Kimmies we already have.
Yeah. But I'm going to specify for Gotchard because we have a legend writer, we have the Decade one, and he's probably, because Subleak has shown supposedly the driver, and he's using the Geats Ride Kimmy card. So that would technically discredit mine, but also we don't know the context for it, and I'm also going to specify it's just for Gotchard because the 101 is associated with him. Last up, how many main character deaths? Writer and title characters, pretty more or less anyone important in the series. This also includes villains. just to put it out there, this also includes villains. I'm just gonna ballpark it at 9. Honestly, this is probably the hardest question to get right because I don't know.
It almost feels like, at least the way it's starting, we're not in the right mindset for it to be a dark show.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the deaths are going to be on the low number. And possibly just relegated to our villains.
Yeah.
Obviously, outside of the obligatory main rider dies.
What are you talking about? The main rider doesn't die once, they die multiple times. Ace died like 3 times.
Well, that's Ace. And actually, wait a minute. Ace himself or all reincarnations of Ace?
I mean, just Ace himself, but
Okay.
I'm also now thinking about it. Everyone gets on Takeru's case for dying all the time. Fucking look at how many times Ace has died canonically in his own show.
Uh-huh.
You are not allowed to get on Takeru's case anymore for how many deaths he's taken.
I mean, to be fair, he has been around for over 2,000 years, meaning that he's got at least, and I'm being generous here, at least 20 deaths pre-show.
Yeah. Yeah. Y'all are not allowed to get on Takeru's case anymore. Y'all love Ace, but Ace took a lot of deaths to get to where he was. And then had to die like 2 more times to get there.
Yeah, but now you don't have to die again. Unfortunately, Takeru still does.
Yeah. But also, can Ace really die again?
Like I said, he don't have to now. So it don't matter.
Yeah. All right. Full prediction.
Also, I love that we have 2 rider gods now.
Yes.
2
But at least-
self-created rider gods. Jeez, I didn't even think about that one.
Yeah, and the only difference between them is that one is actually worshipped and one isn't. That's the nuttier part, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
Ace actually gets worshipped as a god, technically.
Technically.
Since people go to his shrine to pray and for help. But anyway, full predictions. These can be as broad or as specific as we desire. If we get it right, it's 5 points. If we get it wrong, it is nothing. My first one. This is because of a comment from, I forget if it was the producer or the writer of the series, but Gotchard will become a 2-in-1 writer because Hotaro and the girl are both the main characters of the show. They even refer to him as the double protagonist of the series with the letter W. I think that's just a Japanese thing, but well, it takes two chemis to make a form. One of his forms is going to be him and her together in a form.
Mm-hmm.
And your first one is no female writer or female writer will have less forms.
Yeah. Because it'll be one of two things. And that's kind of why I'm setting it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know if they'll full on go with the no female writer for this show, because we have had for what, the last 4 shows?
We have had one for every Rare Era show, at least one.
So I don't think they're going to pull the trigger on that, but at the very least, yeah, we're gonna have another Nago incident where it's gonna be like uber less.
They'll probably have the one and only form they have, like Sabella, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, second predictions is one I talked about before. No new chemis besides the 101 that we have already established in Evos of those 101, specifically for Gotchard, because we'll probably get the Legend Rider chemis in the show because of Legend. But otherwise, there's not going to be any new chemis. If there's chemis, it's the 101. I can't wait for this to bite me in the ass.
I don't think it will. I think you're right on that.
Even knowing the full card list, I'm like, this is gonna bite me in the ass because they're gonna introduce some dark, like, ultimate bullshit chemi thing that's gonna discredit me immediately.
Like the only thing that I think will be the question is if we have another rider introduced that uses like a different set, then that could be where the problem comes in.
Yeah.
But I honestly think you might be fine with that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to specify for Gachard.
Yeah.
Because Gachard is not going to use anything besides the 101. Those are his buddies, and he's going to use them in their Evos, and that's it. He's not going to use some big fancy new one that comes out of nowhere. And your second one is the knowledge of alchemy will be public before the finale.
Which ties into your third one, truthfully.
Which mine is the knowledge of alchemy will become public permanently at some point. Yeah, they don't set it up in episode 1 where it's like, we got to keep we got to keep a lid on this. People can't know about this. And I'm like, one of our cast members is someone who's not in the know. It's going to be a big deal when he finds out.
Yep.
And once he finds out, everyone else is going to find.
He's probably going to find out at or before the first major upgrade.
Yeah. And your last one, another rider will use only one chemi instead of 2.
Because, I mean, that just feels like that's on par.
Well, according to the belt leak, if it's true, you've got this dead on because Legend only uses one rider chemi card. For a form, supposedly.
Makes sense.
Granted, I also feel like when Valvid becomes a rider, he's only going to use one, and he'll only use like one vehicle card. That's the other thing I could see them doing is maybe giving a rider per category of card. Maybe? I don't think they'll bite on that because that's 10. And I don't think they'll bite on that. Especially because of what the themes of all 10 of them are. which I can say them if you want to hear what they are.
It's whichever.
All right, so we've of course got Insect already. That's Hopper 1 and all them. We've got Job, which is Wrestler G and Opera Bushido and all them. We've got Vehicle, which is Mad Wheel and all them. We've got Animal, which I don't think we've seen an Animal card in show. I don't think. It's the red cards.
I don't think
But I feel
so
like
yet.
Yeah. Then there's Artifacts, which are the white cards. That's the smartphone. I think we've seen Energeal, which is like a soda can in the show. But it's in like the big, like all the chemis are flying about and stuff, I think is when you see it. Then there is Plant, which we have cards of because we have the like Ghost Pepper one or the Pepper one. And then I believe it's 4 categories we don't know currently because they're not officially revealed, but we have them via the driver. I think. Let me check. Because I'm pretty sure there are 4 blank spots on the website that categorizes all the cards and stuff. So these are the 4 categories we don't know officially. There's the occult cards, which are spooky cards that also includes aliens, because the 10 card is UFOX. There is Ancient, which is dinosaurs. There is Astrology, which is planets. And then there is Mythology, which is mythical creatures. And in fact, some of these cards that we don't know about, we already have their other pair because they are paired with some of the cards we've already gotten. But yeah, if we get a 1 card writer, it will be someone specifically using one of the groups of 10. Probably Velvet. Besides Legend. Because they're the only 3 we know at the moment, because we don't know anyone else past that point. But that is all of our predictions. As we currently stand, I am losing by 2 points, -73 to -71. But it is the start of the show, so
that'll change.
Yeah, I can't wait for once more to lose a full prediction within the first like 10 episodes. Because that's what happened with Geats, is that within the first 10 episodes, Ace won the Desire Grand Prix. I said he was going to lose, and it's like, well, I'm down 5 points already, and we're not even a quarter of the way in the show. Fuck.
I don't think any of yours will do that to you.
Yeah. At the very least, if they do it to me, they're going to have to do it late.
Yep, which will be fine.
Yep. But yeah, there is a link to so you can view the document. I will try to update it every few weeks or so, because there is no point in updating this weekly because nothing's going to change. Like the first 2 yes or no questions, we have to wait till the final episode next year. Like a lot of these are going to be like later in, so I'll probably update it like in a couple months or so. And see where we stand and try to give an update, because I don't think we usually do an update on this until like the show's over,
or at least late in the show.
Yeah, and I kind of like to do an update like every like so many episodes or so to see how we're doing. But yeah, that is all of our news and writer predictions for the week. So shall we get to releases?
I guess so.
All right, we're going to kick off on the 11th with Adventure of Ben Rabbit Run for Switch. On the 12th, Smurfs Kart for Xbox One and Series X, Super Bomberman R2 for Xbox One, Toho New World for PlayStation 4 and 5. On the 13th, the Scarlet and Violet DLC, Part 1, the Teal Mask on Switch, along with Super Bomberman R2 for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. On the 14th, Ben Kaido 1 and 2 HD Remaster for Switch. Inspector Gadget Mad Time Party for PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. Retro Mysteries Club Volume 1, the Ishishima case for Switch. Retro Revengers for Switch. Damn it, I still missed one. For Xbox Series X and Switch, Solar Ash.
You missed another one.
God damn it, yeah, I see it. And Ugly for Xbox One and Switch, since I missed both of them. Also, The Crew Motorfest for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, and 5. Let's see, on the 15th, Game Dev Story for Xbox One, Series X. NASCAR Arcade Rush for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. On the 19th, I forgot to delete one. Lies of P for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, and 5, and Mortal Kombat 1 for Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, and Switch. I feel bad for all the YouTube folks that are doing Mortal Kombat stuff on launch, because guess what gets demonetized super hard, regardless of what you do.
Oh boy.
Yep. All the gore and violence just automatically demonetizes all of Mortal Kombat. Maybe there's an option to change all the blood to not red, because I think that helps. Also on the 19th, You Suck at Parking for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. On the 20th, Party Animals for Xbox One and Series X, and Rayland 2 for Switch. On the 21st, and only because it is this stupidly long, Mon, you defeat monsters and gain strong weapons and armor. You may be defeated, but don't give up. Become stronger. I believe there will be a day where the hero defeats the Devil King for the Switch. Yes, that is the official title of this video game. Why? Why is this a mile long? For some basic, like, dungeon crawler game. Because I googled this game. It is some basic ass dungeon crawler game. We also have Paperman Adventure Delivered for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. Payday 3 for Series X and PlayStation 5. On the 22nd, Avatar: Last Airbender Quest for Balance for Xbox One, Series X, and Switch. Pikmin 1+2 for Switch. Weird West Definitive Edition for PlayStation 5, and Whateverland for Switch. That is a peek at our releases. If you want the full list, it is in our notes. Anything else?
No.
All right, then. Tomorrow, it's Splatoon 3, all silver kettles. I will probably lose.
Maybe, maybe not. I haven't practiced.
I will do a warm-up run tomorrow, and it will probably not help. But next Thursday, we'll be more indivisible with maybe live reactions to a direct if it actually exists. I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out Wednesday. Because they'll probably give us 24 hours notice, as they normally do. Next Friday will be the last of us doing Payday 2 before Payday 3 comes out.
Yep.
And then next Saturday is, in fact, our last week of Ultraman Z. And unfortunately, I have bad news. Guess what we're starting after Zed?
What?
We're gonna try Saber.
Oh boy.
We're going to try. We're going to try to give it an honest effort and see if we can make it through the show.
Oh boy.
I make no promises on us making it through that show. Well, being honest.
I make no promises of me making it through that show.
Fair. But that is the week ahead, folks. So if you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. Really appreciate chipping away at that Philly go. At Jesus on Twitter gets the updates of life. Exclamation point, Dustin or Jack is listening. Drop by, say hi. It's at TGS Network on Mastodon, because I keep forgetting to do that one. We'll see you tomorrow, folks.